Hey everyone, it's your girl Poetic Justice, better known as Brown Sugar, and I'm back at it with another one. Before I begin, I want to let you guys know that this is called Testimony, and it's about my life since I was a little girl all the way until now. Um, so yeah, here we go. So on August 28th, 1983, at 11:50, a queen was born to a wonderful mother who already had a daughter who was waiting for her little sister. And 2 years later came our brother. It was a beautiful blessing. Our mother did everything that she could to protect us since the day we were born, and that's what mothers do, you know. So for as long as I can remember, I knew I was born on this planet for a purpose, like everyone else, on a mission to reach the highest and tallest mountain that there is out there. Um, I knew I had to grow. I knew I had to learn, whether it was learning how to speak, life, life lessons, or even school. Writing or how to get along with others, how to share, how to give myself one on one conversations, how to love myself if nobody else did. For I knew I was God's child, and you know, um, that's all that mattered because I knew He loved me. I didn't mind it. I also knew that eventually one day I would become an adult, and it was all just a matter of time. You see, the planet we live on is cruel, and I mean cruel. A lot of you may not agree, but I know I agree. Um, you see, I have a story to tell, and it took me a very long time for me to just come out and speak out loud. I was always the one to always hold everything inside like a bubble, just balled up, waiting to explode like a bomb. Um, so, feel my pain. I was 5 years old living in Indiana with my mother, my brother, and my sister. And I can remember the days like it was just yesterday. Um, I remember how me and my sister used to get on the school bus and we were just fighting the same boy over and over again. He was spitting on us. It was nasty. So we went home with spit on us every day from fighting. And we'd be the reason why the bus was always turning back around, why we was always late coming home, because we was on the bus fighting. There never was a day that that bus turned around. But it just shows you how people will never give up ignorancy and being dumbfounded. So one day he learned this lesson after me and my sister tagged him real good, and he left us alone after that. I remember that the bus took me to a place because they said I caught the wrong bus. The only thing I could remember was me looking for my mother and crying and telling her to stop talking to me, and then trying to speak to my mother when she gets there and explain what happened. But my mother, she wasn't listening because she cussed him out. But she didn't play. So come the next day, they made sure that I got on that right bus and that I went home to where I was supposed to be. Um, I remember this girl in my class, and she would tell me that I painted pretty. That she liked the way that I drew my butterflies. She got mad because she said that she just said something nice to me. And how come I won't tell her thank you? So I got quiet and stopped painting, and I looked at her and chuckled and continued painting. I had my times, but I also kept to myself a lot while I was in school. It doesn't matter if it was elementary, middle school, high school. It's what I did. I remember the day that me and my brother were jumping on the couch, constantly getting told to stop, and we kept on doing it. I remember how we set a small fire in the house. It was Christmas week, Christmas, around that time. Um, and so we tried putting the fire out with the white chair that was in the corner, and all you could see was this black flame in the back. Um, but we ended up putting it out, and so my mama got home. She laughed about it, and I remember I was told to stop jumping on the bed. You know, y'all know them 10 monkeys who just wouldn't listen. One fell off and bumped his head. So none of them did listen. Well, one day my mother was in the bedroom cooking with them plug up pans, cooking behind the door. And she kept telling me to stop, and me being hard headed, I wouldn't listen. So I kept on jumping. Needless to say, I slipped and my right arm went in the pan, and all you heard was like a sizzling, and I'm screaming, and I'm just screaming. I'll never forget that day. Boy, that was hilarious. I didn't go to the hospital for that because we had home remedies and cocoa butter, the wrap up thing, and nobody wanted no doctor bill. I was bad, y'all. I remember when I cut the corner of my eye. Yeah, I had a lot of things that happened to me. I was either a fire starter or I was always cutting myself for little stuff or somebody else. But I remember the corner of my eye, I got cut twice. And everybody thought I lost my eye because it was just bleeding. But it was because my sister and my cousin was playing in the living room. And that's how that happened. And I also remember that there was this iron. My uncle had just got done ironing his clothes, getting ready for work. My mother told me I took the iron and I put it to my face. I just kept on, I had third-degree burn. Y'all, I was a reckless child. Don't ask me why I did it, but I did. And as I grew up, I could always see like the blemishes, and every now and then I see like from my skin because of what I did. So as I grew up, it was always one side other than the other, but I eventually healed. So I remember when we get into the car, and I told my sister she had to sit on the other side because she was black. And that was her dad. Even though we had the same dad, I was a little girl and I didn't know no better. So, I was mean to her. I didn't snatch knives from her. I didn't cut her finger. I slammed her finger in the car door. I was mean to my brother too. They tag teamed me a lot. And I'm the middle child. But as the years went by, I apologized to my sister and my brother for everything. I did growing up to them. That was my peace with them, my heart and joy. I remember at night we used to catch fireflies in a glass for a competition just to see who can catch more. If you've ever been to Indiana, then you know what I'm talking about. But those were the good times with my siblings. I remember riding around on the bikes with the boys outside, same crew every day. I remember the street fairs, riding on the horses and the pony. The elephant ears was bomb. If you've been to Indiana, again, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I remember climbing the highest tree, jumping from tree to tree to the bottom. From the bottom of the ground where we had a mattress below, we wouldn't get hurt. But we would literally climb that tree to the highest and wouldn't even care. I remember our neighbor had a sister, and she was a crybaby, but her grimy brother used to always like throw beer on us, on their bikes when they rode past. So we decided to grab a rock and put a hole in the pool while she was in there. It's funny now, but then she was crying, like not knowing what happened. I remember when my sister didn't know why I was screaming, thinking a snail crawled up my leg when it was a bee. That stung me. That's when I find out that I was allergic to bees. But I love honey. I remember my brother running up to a poison ivy tree in the front of the yard, just hugging it like it was his best friend. And waking up in the middle of the night with pus bubbles. Now, he never did that again. I remember I had to use the bathroom and I was inside and I ran outside and did it again. Like, and got in trouble for it. And I was inside. If I had to use the bathroom's right there. I don't know what made me go run outside inside the house and use the bathroom. Um, Boy, I never did that again. That was my first time. It was like, oh, let me see if I can get in trouble for it. And I did. Um, I remember when my brother had this seizure, and the ambulance there, paramedics and, the police was there. Um, and I'm screaming and crying at the ambulance, telling them, don't take my brother to jail. And he had a seizure, you know. I was tripping over my brother, and they were laughing at me. But me being a little girl, I didn't think it was funny. Because I thought they was trying to take my brother to jail and, something wrong with him. And they didn't want to help him. So, it's crazy how the mind of a kid can really think, but knowing that, something was really wrong, you looking at them like you supposed to help him. I don't know what you're doing, but you gonna help my brother and, don't take him because he didn't do nothing. Some of you may not have heard of Smurfmobiles, but we had them in our basement when tornado touchdowns used to happen. And that was in Indiana. It kept my mind off of the storm. I remember I didn't want to get out of my grandma's car. When it was thunder and the lightning, I was always scared of it. It was like it was raining. It could rain all it wanted to, but that lightning and thunder, you could not get me to come out the car unless you snatched me out that car. It's just hilarious. But you had to be there to know. I remember when I tried to go swimming and I jumped in the water and got stuck literally on top of the water. And my mother had to come pull me out the water, and I was 2 years old at the time. And there was another time that I almost drowned too. So twice when I was a little girl that I almost drowned. But now I know how to swim and I love swimming. So every time I get the chance or when it's summertime, I'm in that water. It's my sign. I'm a water child. Can't help it. Now I know that we all went through something in our life at a point in time, whether it was when we were a little teenager or becoming an adult or. So who are we to judge anyone? We are all God's children. At the age of 5 years old, I was in Indiana. We were living on 10th Street in Locust when I was first molested by a Chester named Ephraim Brown. In the daytime, I was watching My Little Pony. I had a skirt on, and he was sitting on the couch. Next thing I know, he had his hands in my panties, and I quickly pulled away and ran in the back room, hiding till he left and didn't come out until I knew that he wasn't coming back. For I know I didn't ask for this to happen to me, nor did I tell him to do it. For this whole time, I didn't know that he had touched my sister too. Not to mention a boy named Titus who watched us. That is my brother and my sister and me. And I remember how he used to try to force us to do things together. People sick-minded, they get a kick out of it. Yet, Lord only knows where my mind was at that time. And if we didn't do it, he would hit us with the belt, or how he tried to make us do sexual things with each other, or him with my sister of his pleasures. We had a cousin named Bradley Brown, who, when we had family gatherings, when we came over, he would snatch my sister in closets, not knowing how he got there. Just in closets hiding. And he would, or just why he would even snatch her inside the closet is just a mystery. He made her do stuff with him too, but you would think family wouldn't do you no wrong, right? Well, I was wrong. So Efren didn't do it anymore after till we left Indiana and got to Seattle only to find out that he touched another one of my cousins. I can't for the life of me wrap my head around why or how do you get a kick out of touching little children? What human being in their right mind can have the courage to do something as sick as this is? Sounds to be, but it's true. Being in Seattle, I love the weather, the breeze, even through the rain. You know, it rained a lot. I love it when it rains out here in Vegas. It was like a breath of fresh air to me. Needless to say, memories with my family, friends growing up, not to mention here another place that Evan started touching me again. I remember we had a little burgundy car my mother bought. She never drove it. He did. We lived in Freddo Way, where we walked to the bus stop in the apartments. And one night we went to the store. I hopped up like, oh, I want to go to the store. You know, not thinking anything of it. Nothing started up the car and told me to wait and put his hands on my thigh and said, okay. After just. And I never, for the life of me, could get this past as to why he wanted to touch me or what gave him the kick to do so. This sick bastard had the nerve to come get us from school walking. And again, I didn't know how to speak or what to say because I just wanted to hide. And he would come looking for me. I wanted to tell on him so bad, and I couldn't find the right words to tell. I remember the day $10 roll of quarters came up missing and tried to blame me for it. And I didn't have the damn plastic from the roll of quarters. And I really got in trouble for it. But his black ass had the plastic they were in. I remember my aunt and my cousin moved from the apartment. And it ended being just us there. We called them the Bob and Roberta apartments. It was like a duplex. We stayed at door A, like green beige buildings. Yeah, he wore that white work suit every AM. He act like he leave and then the light be on, and I eventually wake up to him rubbing on my pants line, trying to push me down every time I was trying to lift up, not knowing how he touched me, because I was asleep. Asking if I wanted cookies when he came back. Of course, me being a child, he told me, don't tell, be quiet. But he never had no cookies when he got off. I was more like, why are you doing this to me? I couldn't go back to sleep. I wanted to run in the room and tell my mother, I was scared. I was afraid, hell, I was a little girl. I didn't know what to do. This Chester was in our house. One night my mother left with my Uncle Tony and Jamie to get my cousin moved from the airport so that he could start going to school with us. He decided to come in the room. And next thing I know, he touched me between my legs and started cracking. All I hear is cracking knuckles, like trying to rub on my butt. So I push him away. And he tried it again. I tell him, leave me alone. He says, what are you afraid of? I said, I'm not. Now leave me alone. Knowing I was scared when I said, leave me alone. My brother was sleeping right next to me. And he said, I'm only going to be a minute. I screamed at him and I told him, leave me alone. He said, okay, I'll let you be. And after that, once my mother got back, me, my brother, and my cousin stayed up. I didn't know what to say or to do. But my mother had this look on her face as if she knew something was wrong with me, but didn't know what it was. She used to check on me at school when he used to come pick us up and tell us to call from the office, checking on me, asking, was I okay? Was I okay? Something's wrong. And I always tell her, nothing, Mom, I'm okay, I'm fine. Knowing that it wasn't, I was not. I remember I got out of the office and, she called, every time. And I knew I should have said something then over the phone. Ever since then, ever since my cousin came to Seattle, we all played who can stay up the latest at night. And I stayed up till I knew he was gone. And we were all awoke so I could sleep. We also played Tetris Wars, Dr. Mario on the weekends, just to see who can win the most. That was fun because my mom played with us too. We took turns to see who get the highest and play the next one. So we moved to 28th Street because we lost our place prior to that. I remember I finished washing dishes. Mind you, this is out here in Vegas. And I remember when I was done washing the dishes, one day here he comes, hands dirty. My sister and my brother were always there when he tried to think he can put his hands on me. But he put his hands on my face, and I said, leave me alone. He had this black stuff on his hands. And he said, and what you gonna do with your attitude ass? He said, I'll slap you. I told him, if you touch me, I said, that will be your last time, and I promise. So he walked away. And I remember one day he tried to hand a knife to my sister. She was on fire that day. Besides the point, he was just a dick who didn't need one. And he was and is a bitch. Okay? He's Chester the molester. I remember we moved to Jericho, right next to our schools, which is Cashman Middle School, so we can be closer and not have to get on the bus every morning. So one day, me and my sister and my brother, again, it's daylight, we're getting ready, to go outside. He walks on, tries to tell me not to leave, and that my mother said I couldn't leave. So I'm like, he already starting. It's too early. So I said, my mother knows. My mother didn't say that, and she know that I'm leaving. He says, don't you walk out that door. So, now by this time, we're all laughing, me, my sister, and my brother, right at him. So he getting even more mad. And I'm opening the door. He says, you bet not. I said, what you gonna do? Nothing. Soon as I stepped out that door, let me tell you, I took off running. Let me tell you that his black ass chased me all the way down the street to the school, not knowing I had security kick him out. I just don't know what made him chase me down the street, what he had going on that day. Like, I remember telling my mother, like, when she came home from work, she questioned him, but by now, he couldn't even say why he chased me. Like, who does that? My mother's not at home. I don't have to listen to you. I never did, and I never will. So, not only has touched me, he has touched my sister, and more than once, in which I wish God have mercy on your soul for doing what you did to me, my sister. Bradley Brown, I tried to inbox you, be cool with you, ask you an honest question, and you blocked me. You went off. You could have been mad about it. I'm just stating facts. So however it is that you feel, you can disown me because you already been disowned as a cousin. Especially what after you did to my sister when we were younger. My cousin Tiffany, Ephraim Brown, he tried to rape her at an abandoned house, got freaked out, and left her there. Have him confess about the hole he placed in the wall to watch people in the bathroom when they was taking showers. Vera Jean's daughter, who you raped repeatedly. The list goes on. Your wife Robin, how she threatened me on Facebook, but not knowing nothing about what happened prior to what she knows of you now. This filth is capable of doing, but wants to protect them. Did you tell her how you tried to put hands on my mother and left town so you wouldn't have to go to court? Did you tell her that? I don't think that you told her a lot of stuff. There's documents. There's proof in the pudding. And there's also a restraining order against you. So if you ever come back out here, I'm sure you'll get arrested and it'll bring back up. So go ahead and lie about everything, but there's proof. God will show you if you have not yet. You're not as holy as you make them to see you. And now that this has all come to an end, and you all should know it, it took me to my 25th birthday to tell my mother. And I cried, and now she didn't know the details, but she will now watching this video, as it will make a lot of people mad, some sad, hurt, emotions, thinking twice about who their kids are around, because it's real, and it goes on in today's society, right under our noses. And little do we know, it's with the ones that we trust the most. So my advice to everyone out there is watch your kids closely. Watch their actions. If you see a change, talk to them. See what's bothering them. But don't assume till they speak or make them talk. Like, let it come out. Get that bond with them, that comfortability, being able to have them come forth and speak to you. And that you're there for them. Break the cycle. Speak out. Help someone, even if it's domestic violence. I waited till I was 25 years old. Do you hear me? I said 25. I was 5 years old and took me till 25 years old. I was molested from 5 all the way up until my 11th birthday. Do you know how long that is? And I shouldn't have to wait that long to tell my mom. I should have told her years ago, not until my 25th birthday. The pain that I endured, my sister has endured, my cousins, Vera's daughter, the time we all can't get back, and whoever else he did this to, wishing it never happened. But it did. And he has a wife in the rest of the Brown side who's protecting him, yet everyone knows why. Here I am, 36 years old, and telling it all like it has. It took me here. It is laid out to you and everyone else. On behalf of my sister, my brother, my cousins, the harm you have caused, the many lives you have destroyed, for every single last child you have touched. And as the years have passed, and I pray that every single soul comes forward and break the silence. I pray that from here on out, that you won't touch anybody else's kids. I don't care who believes me, who says I shouldn't have put this out there of a video, and exploited him to the world. I don't care who's mad. I don't care who got something to say about me or to me, because you ain't gonna do nothing. And I refuse to let it be a burden on my life. This is my testimony, and I'm not dealing with any more in my life, my past, my present, or my future. Today you reap what you sow, and today I let it go. But God will deal with you in His ways. May God have mercy on your soul. And I want to leave you guys on this note, but I have one more thing, and it's for Torrance. I've reached out to you more than once. The first time I told you when I was 18. It's like as you were included too, as if you knew since we came back to Indiana when we were little kids that Vera's daughter was repeatedly raped, because she came to you for help, but she didn't say or do anything about it. Just left it alone. And after you saw it, thinking that others wouldn't look at you like you was crazy, so you let her suffer and you let it continue to happen. You could have saved her, but since you didn't, the years passed, and now you're pissed off and don't know what to do. And now that your daughters are a part of this sick mission that he was on, you haven't done shit. So congratulations, Torrance. You failed miserably to protect your daughters. In the future, not only, did you hang up the receiver, but you can hang yourself. You lied more than once through my journey of heartache and pain, tears, sleepless nights, nightmares, need I go on. You were supposed to help after I came to you and told you. The first time I came to you, I was 18 years old. And then nothing, still not done. And still to this whole time, I have done all the talking myself and got so many answers. I never thought that you can say one word and now all the Browns are not speaking because I came forward. And everything is now clear in my book. The Browns are all full of pedophiles, and you set it free. You opened up my eyes, and I get it now. And there's no return. So just let it burn. If anything I could advise you guys of, be true to yourself and others. Be great, appreciate, be honest, be upfront. Treat others as you would want to be treated. Peace out, y'all.